Hello.
Oh, hey.
How's it going?
Fabulous. How are you?
Great. Today we're going to talk about cutting.
Ooh.
The reality of weight loss. What it's like, how much it sucks. But the reality is I just went on a cut for the last 3 months. I lost 16 pounds for the show I did. I went from 195 and on Friday when we opened the show I was 179. That shit sucked.
That's an impressive. Wow.
And we want to just talk about like what that is really like. I feel like there's a lot of crap out there about how to really lose weight, how to do it in a healthy way, what it really takes, how to do it naturally without drugs. I'm natural.
He's had a lot of coffee though.
Yeah, there is some, we have used some little tools.
Just coffee.
Yeah. Everybody wants to look lean. That tends to be a goal a lot of people come into our gym with. But nobody wants to feel like shit to actually get there. It is horrible. It sounds awesome until you actually do it. I wanted to quit many times, but I did have a goal in mind. I had a reason to do it, and I had great people around me like Madeline and others.
Thanks.
That, really held me accountable.
I was supportive of the rice cakes.
Yeah. I ate a lot of rice cakes. That's a little secret. Eat rice cakes. We want to talk about how I did it, what it was actually like. We want to tell you the whole timeline of how to actually do it. Because if this is a goal of yours, it's totally possible, but there is pros and cons to this process. Let's talk about first what I did. The first thing you have to do when you do a cut is you have to figure out your macros. Okay, like what is your metabolic rate? How many calories do you burn doing nothing every day? You can use tools like an InBody or some other type of body scan to tell you exactly what you burn. And then you also need to figure out what are your active calories. So that's like step one. What is your metabolic rate? And then what is your activity per day? And you have to kind of guess. Okay, you have to kind of figure that out. It's a little, for the first month of this cut, we were just figuring out like, how much do I need to eat to start to slowly lose weight? Because you don't want to lose weight too fast. I actually lost too much weight to start. And it was the first few weeks, it was like, oh my God, this is too fat. This is too much.
You dropped so much weight the first week.
Yeah, and it was not good.
You were not eating enough.
No, I wasn't.
So I will say, if you have a wearable device, don't trust it 100%.
Yeah, we figured out the Whoop does not have a good representation of your caloric
No, I feel
output.
if you're a weightlifter.
If you're weightlifting.
We can't say much for the cardio piece,
Yeah.
but the weightlifting does not get tracked very well, and it was under calculating how much Anton was actually burning.
Finally, locked it in around week 3, where I needed to eat about 2,600 calories. It seems like my basal metabolic rate was about 2,000, and my activity per day was about 1,000. So I to maintain my weight was about 3,000 calories. I needed to eat about 400 calories under that. And that's something I could sustain. And I was losing about a pound-ish a week. My macros were 200 grams of protein, 300 to 400 grams of carbohydrates, and about 50 grams of fat. This was tough. This was a lot of carbs. That was a new macro split for me. I realized I was not eating enough carbohydrates, and that really helped kind of sustain my energy through this. And I was eating too much fat. So I actually had to eat completely different. One thing that really helped me was I had somebody cooking for me in-house. This is something that's very nice that Blue House offers. So I had our cook, Mick, make all my food.
Body by Mick.
Body by Mick. This helped me with consistency, portion control. I didn't have to guess. And what was nice was he only cooked 2 meals a day for me, but that was my baseline. I got 75% of my calories through 2 meals, which was nice. It was a burrito that was super high carbohydrate. And then we had a big meal that was 100 grams of protein, 60 grams of carbs. So that was a great way to just get a lot of protein in. Over those 3 months of doing this, I lost 16 pounds. Freaking crazy. Weekly weigh-ins. You have to do weekly weigh-ins to kind of be like, okay, am I losing this weight? Is it happening? Sometimes it would go up a little bit. Sometimes it would go down. Yeah.
Weekly. Okay, guys. Weekly weigh-ins.
I was weighing in every day.
Do not start weighing yourself every day because guess what? Your body changes and you have water weight and you exercise and you sleep. So weekly is better.
So, and let's talk about my goal really quickly. My goal was I do not wear a lot of clothing in this show. If you, we'll show some pictures so you can kind of get a sense of what's going on. But my goal was to look the part. I had to play an 80s rocker.
When Anton is standing next to everyone else that does theater, and no shade to anyone else that does theater, he still looks massive compared to everyone else. And I think in here he feels small right now, and that's okay.
Yeah.
The muscles are popping.
Well, it's interesting when you cut and if your carbohydrates are high enough, you will be shocked on how full you can look, even being a lot leaner. It's really interesting. So let's talk about how weight loss works. And this is an important thing to understand. Like I said, you have to understand your calories. You have to be in a deficit. If you're not, it doesn't work. So you have to be real with yourself. If you're gaining weight or maintaining, you're eating too much food. That's just the base. Protein, you have to keep your protein around your body weight because that's how you're going to maintain your muscle. You want to maintain your muscle so you don't just get skinny. You want to look good and you have to hold on to your muscle, right? So again, if you think of bodybuilders and they really understand this concept, is you eat in a caloric surplus to put on muscle, and then they lean out and they look good because they have so much muscle. You actually won't get your desired look if you lose weight and you didn't put on muscle. So that was part of, I think, what made it look good was because the muscle, I was maintaining my muscle mass. Carbs have to stay high, really high, because that's what makes your muscles look big. And this is a big miss. I ate so many carbs. There were many days where I would have 6 to 8 pieces of bread. My go-to snack was rice cakes or like pieces of toast with peanut butter and jelly. But the bread was great. And you want to eat some of these like lower fiber snacks that don't make you feel bloated.
You don't want it to sit in your stomach.
We were having too much fiber to start. We figured it out in the first month. I was having about 70 grams of fiber and it was really fucking me up. We cut it down to 30, which is good. Like a good baseline. It's still enough fiber. And I felt way better. And my stomach felt better. Another thing that was really interesting was I noticed was that I hydrated enough and had enough salt. I would feel much better and I would seem to hold on to water in my muscles if my salt was high. So I salted the shit out of my food. There's no magic here. There's no hacks. I guess you could take like TRT or start taking drugs and yes, this would be much easier.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's just consistency and math and
discipline.
It's discipline. Let's talk a little bit about the pros of cutting. You look good. Even your face. You feel confident. Your confidence goes up. All the stuff that you desire from cutting, it's true. You feel it. For something like what I just did, you have to be on stage in front of a lot of people without your clothes on. Like it definitely feels better when you feel lean. You're like, okay, I feel good. I think you learn a lot about how your body works when you're cutting. I relearned things about nutrition that I forgot. And you also learn like what your body likes. I'm noticing that these easy carbs like rice cakes, breads, rice, my body loves. Some of these things that are hard to digest like beans, like high fiber fruit, it was a little rough.
Those tortillas.
Yeah, I had some of these fiber tortillas. Nope.
Be careful with the like low calorie packaged foods because they just have a lot of fiber in them.
Yeah.
And your gut does not like that.
I learned a lot about discipline. Your mind plays tricks on you, like some crazy tricks. And so you start to kind of figure out like, how is this going to work for you? I found that I could be much hungrier in the day and function. But if it's nighttime, I have absolutely no discipline. If it's 9 p.m. and I'm hungry, I'm fucked. I found that if I could save some calories for the end of the day, it was much better. And I know you're going to hear all kinds of stuff about, should you not eat before bed? It didn't bother me. Maybe it will for you, but it's really how many calories you eat in a 24-hour span. Technically, you could do it however you want. I found that eating late at night was the place where I have the least discipline. I'll finish with this with the pros. I would say one of the coolest things for me was just, I feel like I learned so much about me and my body through this process. I won't see food the same again. Now I know actually one thing I didn't realize, that even when I am eating in maintenance or like for performance in CrossFit, I wasn't eating enough carbohydrates. because I started measuring my food and I noticed that my carbs were not high enough. So I'm excited to start eating more again and then really upping my carbs, especially as we get into competition, which is coming very soon, which we're all very excited about. Okay, let's talk about the cons or the harsh reality of cutting. You just feel like crap all the time, like low energy, training sucks. I found that I could do hypertrophy pretty well, but once we started doing some high powers, I mean, I did a workout for a qualifier. I got forced into doing this qualifier. It's ridiculous.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I wanted you to do it. I know you could.
Oh my gosh. And we did a version of Grace and it had a heavy barbell at the end, 225, which is not hard for me. I could barely lift the freaking bar. I was laughing. I'm so weak. I feel so weak. It's crazy. I'm constantly hungry, which is weird. You kind of just feel like that's all I can say. It's horrible. I think social hangs really suck too, because people are enjoying things like French fries and you're that person. And that's not a fun way to live. And you should eat the fries, like if you're with your friends. And here I am. Let me grab a rice cake.
Hey, but you got to have supportive friends that
which I feel
allow
like,
you to do that, though.
Which I feel like I had, which is great.
Good.
Another thing with the discipline, I think the amount of mind games you're constantly battling your mind. You constantly want to quit. You constantly want to give up. You're constantly telling yourself, "Oh, it's okay. Maybe you should." And it's like you will not reach your goal if you're eating a 300-calorie snack at night. It's like those little things like can totally mess up the goal that you have. A couple 300-calorie snacks and you're done. And if you are a person that has a lower metabolic rate, you even have less room to play. You can get the results, but it comes at a big cost. And everybody loves how you look at the end. I love some of the photos that you're seeing. I'm like, yes, I look great. But nobody talks about freaking week 8. Like
when
week
you're
9,
starving,
week 10, yes,
like
and you do
anything looks good, but it's
really
worth
hard.
it. And guess what? Then you're gonna stop doing the cut, and you're gonna maintain, and everything's gonna feel better.
Yeah, I have 3 more weeks. I'm there, so it feels good. I also want to talk about cutting and the sport of CrossFit because I think this is really important. You cannot compete in the sport and cut. Like it's not possible. I am 70% of the athlete I usually am. Like maybe less.
It's great for me. I feel like I'm crushing it.
So I think if you cut, this goes back to our emphasis on off season and in season. You have to cut in the off season. If it's for me, I had a show, so I had a goal, but you need to have a goal. I would recommend if you wanted to cut, it makes sense to cut in the summer when you're like going out, maybe going to the beach or whatever. You can't really do this around competition. Yeah.
No, it's time for the winter arc now.
You can do hypertrophy. Think like that's a way to maintain your muscle mass, but you really need to drop down the power output. You don't recover as well. Training doesn't feel very good when you're cutting. And I think as we've done this qualifier, which is crazy, I would never do this again. The workouts feel horrific. I was so messed up after that. I was like laying down outside. Very clearly, your power is what goes away. Your ability to force into something is what really drops when you're cutting. Luckily, though, it's not forever. And so, again, if you do it, I would recommend nothing longer than 3 months, and then you have to get back to maintenance. And then it's just not that healthy. Like, I haven't measured my testosterone, but everything's probably down. My health is probably not as good, which is weird. We kind of associate leanness with health. There's a happy medium. Like, I think right now I'm 7%, probably 7% body fat. That's too low. I'd say healthy for a guy is probably 10 to 12.
Especially as an athlete. It's not great to
Not
be
as
that
an
low.
athlete.
Yeah, you don't want to be that low.
If you do this, you will learn what real discipline feels like. And that's a great thing to take away from this. I feel more disciplined. I'm actually excited to train. I will probably train harder than I did if I didn't do this. You'll learn how much you actually can eat and what works for your body. And it'll really up-level your nutrition game. And you'll realize that maintenance is the real game here. If you lock in a good maintenance plan, you will feel good, you will look good all the time. And that's really the goal, is figuring out like how to maintain a solid look. Not too lean, not too heavy. You'll realize like what maintenance and stability really looks like. That's the real game. I'll just finish with this. If you're going to cut, make sure you have a goal, make sure you have a plan, make sure you have a finish line. It's not forever. Don't live for this. It's just for a season, and go for it, and you'll learn a ton. I think it's worth trying. But just make sure you have a reason for why you want to do it. Reach out if you have questions about it. We would love to help you with this. Have somebody cook your food for you. It's a nightmare if you try to do this on your own.
Now you got to do a peace sign with your nails, though.